We sincerely apologize for the trauma that you have experienced. To those who suffered in silence, we are sorry. To those who shouted until you could shout no more, at great personal risk, only to have no one listen to you, we are sorry. To those who came forward and were told to be quiet, to not rock the boat, to think of your career, or to prioritize the career of the person who harmed you, we are sorry.
It's an apology that's been years in the making as the Canadian Armed Forces and Department of Defense apologizes unreservedly to people who have been victims of military sexual misconduct. One attorney and former colonel representing survivors says it's a good first step.
I apologize on behalf of the Government of Canada and on behalf of those elected officials who, throughout the history of the Canadian Armed Forces, had the responsibility to protect you and who failed to do so.
It's a good sign, it's a first good step taken in a collective sense by the three major leaders in the Defense Department.
Drapeau says Minister Anita Anand acquitted herself well, but notes she only became Defense Minister in October and had little to apologize for.
Your leaders and those who preceded us did not make sufficient change. The harm you suffered happened on our collective watch, on my watch. Whether through naivety or ignorance, both inexcusable, the problem persisted.
However, Drapeau says a more personal touch from Chief of Defense Staff General Wayne Eyre would have gone a long way. Drapeau was similarly frustrated at Deputy Defense Minister Jody Thomas, in the job since 2017. Drapeau says as Deputy Minister, Thomas bears some responsibility for any lack of action.
Speaking personally, during my career, I've witnessed misogyny, homophobia, hazing, exclusion, open contempt, and abuse of authority of varying degrees that was typically justified under the guise of feeding esprit de corps.
The Defense Department is now waiting on a review of military sexual misconduct by former Supreme Court Justice Louis Arbour. Minister Anand has already implemented interim recommendations to hand investigations over to civilian police, but the Deschamps report covering the same topic has been on hand since 2015.
Madame Deschamps' report was produced in 2015. I think things have changed since 2015. In fact, they've gotten worse. What would have been accepted as welcome recommendation, the 10 recommendation Madame Deschamps has made, now is not quite sufficient.
Now, the deadline for the Arbour review is about 12 to 15 months, meaning Canadians could see findings as early as April of next year. In Ottawa, Xiaoli Li, City News.